Hey guys, one final time. Hello from Latrobe. He's Chris Halicke. I'm Dejan Kovacevic. We're from DK Pittsburgh Sports, and the Steelers just conducted their last public practice, their last real practice of training camp. They're due to have some smaller session tomorrow morning that's not open to either the public or the media, so don't come out here. We won't be coming out here. But it's over.
It's over. Training camp in the books. It almost feels like a last day of school, but then at the same time, it almost feels like orientation is just wrapped up, and now the actual
work.
The actual semester, the work is about to get underway. It's always an interesting day, but it was also a day kind of filled with a number of different things.
Yeah, it really was. And the thing we're going to focus on today, I should say things, plural, is, and maybe we don't do this enough as the camp is going along, we're going to do it today, is guys who don't necessarily have the biggest names or the highest profiles or maybe even the most significant potential for an impact on the roster. But if they're here and they're performing well, it's worth discussing them because they could have a future with the team. They might have a future somewhere else in the NFL. But there's been a bunch of those guys. Chris, when I say this, what's the, just give me a name, first name that pops to mind here.
Honestly, one of them is probably Max Hurleman.
It is Max Hurleman.
I mean,
and everyone watching this is going, huh?
Well, we're talking about a guy who's coming in. He's primarily playing receiver, but he can also play running back. He does a little bit of everything. Does stuff in the return game. He played at Colgate University, made it as a walk-on at Notre Dame. I mean, that's kind of impressive on its own, and he's shown flashes both at camp and during the preseason game in Jacksonville. But then when you sit there and you try to break down the 5 receivers, at most 6 that make the 53-man roster, probably not. But there's the practice squad, and then you have to think about, okay, well, is he a practice squad guy?
See, Hurleman is one of those guys who will drive scouts and evaluators nuts. And here's why. You could put him into an Indianapolis-type environment, meaning the combine. And you could run him through the 40, and you could run him through the strength tests and everything else here, and you're going to come away pretty unimpressed. And he's not a big guy either, to say the least, and he's not the fastest guy on the field. The only thing he does well on the football field is to make football plays. And the parallel that I'm going to offer here is going to be a player who was on the other side of the ball here not all that long ago before he went on to his own fine NFL career, and that was Mike Hilton. Hilton had none of the above when it came to the scouting essentials. All Hilton did was every time the ball was in motion, that it was snapped, he found a way to make the play.
Yeah, I mean, that's what these players do. Yeah, whether they make a 53-man spot outright, like Jalen Warren did a few years ago, or whether it's a guy that does enough where they're like, you know what, he's not going to make the 53, but we're definitely going to give him a spot on the practice squad if he gets through waivers and everything, if he's not picked up by somebody else. But then who knows? One injury happens in the regular season, and then he has an opportunity to make his mark, and that's why they keep those guys. That's why the practice squad can be so valuable.
And they know they can trust him to be a professional about it. That's something else. You don't want guys on the practice squad who think that it's beneath them or that this wasn't why they got into the game or they were so used to being a star at their college and now they're reduced to this. You want your Hurleman types in the fold. I want Hurleman on this practice squad, okay? And I want him there just because in the event of what you're talking about, I want to put somebody out there that I know, operative word here again, is trust. I want somebody that I know that, listen, if I put him out there and we throw him a pass and it's 3rd and 4 in some really big divisional game and he just happens to be the target, I don't want to think, oh no, no, this is too big for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is whenever you figure out the guys that you can trust. This is when you begin to figure out the guys who are not just going to make the roster, now who's not just going to make the practice squad, but then who's going to be the most trustworthy guy in certain situations. You know, when Skylar Thompson goes out and he runs a 2-minute drill to perfection in practice and then goes into a stadium for a preseason game and does it there too, that's always a good step for somebody. Again, do I think he's going to make the 53-man? No, because Will Howard's going to be back. His injury's not, it's not a season-ending type thing, and you don't keep 4 quarterbacks. But if you can possibly keep him on the practice squad and keep him as insurance in case Rodgers or Rudolph or whoever goes down with an injury, you want to have a guy who knows the system and who can be trustworthy.
Nice to have. When we come back, we're going to go at my first selection for the lesser names, lesser lights.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
The offense is going to be diverse this season simply by virtue of who the quarterback is. I think that goes without saying. Aaron Rodgers, this is going to sound really insultingly obvious, but, I mean, he can see the whole field. He can make all the throws, and he's not shy about spreading the ball. He doesn't feel like he needs to feed anybody. Why? Because he's Aaron Rodgers. And you're not going to get, some kind of lip back from anybody. He's like, hey, man, I was open. Can't you see? It's not going to happen because he's Aaron Rodgers. Now, that said, there also are a lot of these types of weapons. There are people who can catch the football, and they're even trying to throw the ball to people who, how shall I put this kindly, haven't shown that they can catch the football. And to me, it's just a combination of Rodgers and Arthur Smith just pressing the button, seeing what works.
Yeah, I mean, this is the whole point of training camp. You're going to find out who does what well. At the beginning of training camp, I knew Darnell Washington was going to be interesting. At the end of training camp, he's a cheat code to me. That's just the way things have played out with Darnell. At training camp and in the preseason, it's just every time if they get first and goal on the 2 in a regular season game, they better just throw the fade to Darnell on the left side or the right side or whatever 3 times in a row because he's going to catch one of them. That's like an example of an impression that you get during training camp. But when it comes to this offensive development, who you can use in certain situations, who you can trust on this route or in this situation on 3rd and 4, whatever the situation is. And using guys in different ways and seeing how versatile different guys can be, whether they can play one spot or whether they can play multiple, that's what they figure out, and it's important to do during the install process.
Now, there are training camp type reasons for this, but one person who's gotten a lot of touches on the football, and as such, a lot of cheers from the crowd and people chanting out his name, is Kenneth Gainwell. And here again now, for those of you who are kind of getting warmed up for the season as opposed to completely immersed in all the summertime stuff. He was acquired from the Eagles in the offseason. He was their number 2 behind Saquon Barkley. He had a terrific game against the Steelers whenever those teams met, which even Gainwell himself acknowledged was a factor in the Steelers' interest in him.
Yep.
They were like, hey, this guy can do this to us. We're interested. He has been a bright light here. He really has, both out of the backfield in terms of catching the ball and running to the outside a lot. We saw today, I don't know how many different passes were thrown his way of all different types, too. What have you thought of Gainwell in general? And what do they think?
I think they think of him as I almost don't want to use the word gadget guy because that's not quite the right.
Yeah, no.
But they're also going to use him in a variety of ways. He's not just going to be this guy, okay, Jalen Ward needs a spell, let's put Kenny Gainwell. No, he is going to be a specific weapon in this offense. It might not be something that's going to come with 800 yards receiving or 600 yards rushing or whatever it is, but it will come with its own unique way of being able to attack defenses because he can run the ball out of the backfield. He's a running back, but he can also line up in the slot. He can line up out wide, and he can run routes. This might be the best pass catching running back the Steelers have had since Le'Veon Bell. To be completely honest, in terms of playing that position and being able to go run routes.
Yeah, he's certainly been the best running back in camp in that specific skill. And he came off the field just now after practice, and I did something that not a lot of people have been able to do here in this camp, and that was I caught up with him. Kenny Gainwell, you're all over the football. You're getting so many reps and everything. This is kind of what you envisioned, isn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm finally getting an opportunity, show my talents, what I really can do. And I'm just happy for the opportunity, and I'm gonna work my ass off to do what I gotta do.
How do you fit into this offense? And the reason that I ask that is because you're doing so many different things.
I say we got a dynamic quarterback, and basically we can go off with any scheme we need to, and I'm just here to help this team win, man. We trying to get a Super Bowl this year, so I'm just chasing that dream.
You enjoying yourself?
Yeah, I am. I'm having fun.
He's a pretty cool dude, too. And
Yeah.
we noticed that when we were at his press conference, when they introduced him, too. It's like, what do you want us to call you? Is it Kenneth? Is it Ken? Kenny? And he goes, well, I get a little bit of all of that. But he goes, but you can call me Kenny G.
Kenny G.
And that's what we've been hearing from the stands here at Chuck Noll. So Kenny G it is. Let's have your guy here. Other side of the ball.
Other side of the ball. So earlier in the show, we were talking about overlooked guys and everything. This guy was overlooked until the second Minkah Fitzpatrick was traded away, and that's Juan Thornhill.
No one knew his name.
I mean, people knew the Steelers had signed him, but he was thought to be this depth guy to be behind Minkah, Deshaun Elliott. No, he is now the starting free safety, and even so overlooked that the second Minkah was traded, people are like, "Oh, well, we got to go with Justin Simmons. Or got to go get somebody else." And Thornhill's sitting there.
I did that. I'm not gonna lie.
But Thornhill's sitting there going, I'm a player. I can play. And he's come out here and he has been impressive. Like, not just a guy who's like come out and, oh, he's just doing his job. He's being the average Joe. He's made plays. He's gotten passes defensed. He's made interceptions. He might, I don't count stats in training camp, but he might, if I like of what my memory serves, be the guy who has the most interceptions. He's just gotten his hand on the ball a lot, even in yesterday's 2-minute drill against Aaron Rodgers. And, when I caught up with him to talk with him after practice, was like, I asked him a couple questions like, hey, how was his first training camp and everything like that, being with the Steelers, and how is this whole process going along? So I know you guys have a practice tomorrow and everything, but still last public practice of training camp. How was your first Steelers training camp?
I can't even lie to you. It didn't disappoint at all. Like, the fans showed up each and every day. Had a great turnout every day. Practice was great. Today was probably one of the worst ones for me because it was hot, but we definitely got a lot of good work in.
So, obviously, there's always talk about, certain teams do training camp different. Steelers have live tackling. What was it like to be part of this physical type of a camp?
I think it was great for us, if you just take a look at us playing Jacksonville last week, I felt like it showed, it looked like it wasn't our first time out there tackling. And if you really watch their film, it doesn't seem like they tackle as much, if I'm being honest. And I think it just prepared us for that preseason game, and it's just going to give us an extra step, an advantage when it comes to our opponents.
As far as the install process from the time you guys got here till now, how have you felt things have gone along, not just what you guys are learning in the classroom, but also how the way you guys are able to take it out here?
I think it's going great. The first few days might have been a little bit slower because a lot of guys might have been thinking a little bit more, but we got a lot of smart guys, so I think everybody's picking up on the playbook pretty well, and now I think we're just out there playing fast and having fun.
All right, thanks, Juan. Appreciate it. No problem.
Now, the question that plagued Thornhill in Cleveland, of course, was availability. In fact, the Browns fans, such as they are, had absolutely no use for him because they got tired of hearing him on the inactive list. And he had a calf injury, and it held him back, and calf injuries are slow and laborious to even once you're healed, even once you're active again, they still impact you here. The safety breakdown, what are we talking about in general, Chris, here? Because we got a little bit used to this 3 safety setup for a while over the past couple of seasons. Is that really going to be the case now? Because I'm seeing Thornhill, and I'm seeing Deshaun Elliott, and I'm seeing coverage people.
Yeah, so I had a conversation with Terrell Austin, and he's not going to give me the ingredients to the sauce. He never does. He's very specific about that.
Likes his job, too.
Yeah, so... But the Steelers are probably going to use a whole lot of nickel this year because of who they have at cornerback. They got Joey Porter Jr., they got Darius Slay, they got Jalen Ramsey. And as long as those 3 guys are healthy, they're going to play. There are not going to be a lot of times in which one of those 3 guys is standing on the sideline holding his helmet, unless injury dictates it.
And if they are, Brandon Eccles will be on the field, so it'll be essentially the same formula anyway.
Right. And so when you look at like all the three safety stuff, I think safety right now is more to complement and really play safety
Support.
to what the cornerbacks are going to be doing, especially when they're in man coverage. Now, Deshaun Elliott, we obviously know what his game is. He's going to play more in the box. He's going to play closer to the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be almost an extra linebacker, especially on rundowns, because he's such, I mean, how good of a tackler is he? He's pretty good, isn't he? Like, pretty good tackler. Juan Thornhill, he's going to be your
Just
center.
a little bit.
Thornhill's going to be your center fielder back there now, and in the preseason game, he showed what he can do while playing center field, and Brian Thomas Jr. also knows what he can do with the imprint that was left on his chest from that hit. And outside of that, I mean...
That's the dude from the Jaguars the other night, if you're not referencing. Oh, my goodness. What a hit. Although, in fairness to that guy, he also leveled. Was it Miles right before that? No, Beanie.
Oh, no. That was a different receiver who trucked Beanie.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Diami Brown, I think the guy's name. But,
yeah.
But either way, I mean, so with this safety position, I think you're looking at four. You're looking at your starters obviously being Elliott and Thornhill, and then Miles Killebrew is making the roster. He's a special teams captain. He's one of the best special teams players in the league. And then Chuck Clark has come in. He's a veteran. He's proved that he's healthy. He's looked good in practice. I think that those are your four safeties going into the season.
Yeah, I've liked Clark too. Before we sign off from Latrobe for good, I'd be out of line if I didn't mention two guys that aren't going to make this team, have virtually no chance of making this team, but they're going to make some team somewhere, and he knows where I'm headed here. Because this team does not have one starting NFL punter. It has two. Cameron Johnston is your starter here, but Corliss Waitson is going to be one of the 32 somewhere in the league.
Should be.
It really should be.
Should be.
I mean, and if he's going to have to wait for an injury or whatever else, but he's going to be sitting there with his phone on his chest there, waiting for the call, and he has deserved it. The amount of daylight between, and this is a compliment, between Johnston and Waitman it can't be more than this.
It's not much. It really, I mean, we talk about this being a punter competition, and I think that all Cameron Johnston has had to do is just prove that he's still the same guy that he was before the injury.
He's had to show he was healthy, yeah.
And he has. I mean, he's still booming the ball.
And the spirals, the location, and the inside the 20, and the directional.
Everything.
And they're both doing that.
Yeah.
The end over end, the deliberate flip back to the... It's been a joy watching these guys. And remember, we're talking about punts here. When it comes to the kickers, listen, nobody's close to Chris Boswell, so I'm not going to say that Ben Sauls, who's right out of the University of Pittsburgh, is going to be that kid. But he's had himself a camp too, and that shouldn't surprise anybody who saw him at Pitt.
No, he is good enough to be one of the 32 starting kickers in the league. I think I said this while we were on the practice field. I'm like, if the Steelers went into the season with Ben Sauls as their kicker and Corliss Waitman as their punter,
no complaints.
They're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah.
That just shows the embarrassment of riches that they have with Cameron Johnston as the punter. Oh, and by the way, the best kicker in the NFL in Chris Boswell. So, I mean, listen, Ben Sauls should have a job. Corliss Waitman should have a job. If they don't, it's a travesty, and the Steelers will gladly put them on the practice squad or do whatever they need to do to keep those guys just as insurance in case Johnston goes down or Boswell goes down. But, yeah, it's just to think about where we were just a couple of years ago with the punter situation, and now to see that they have two that could really do the job well for them.
If there's such a thing as a training camp offensive MVP, I'm going to go ahead and name him, and it's appropriate that I would be the one to name him since I spent the better part of the summer burying him. No one impressed me out here on the field, off the field, in every capacity the way Aaron Rodgers did. He didn't just address every concern anybody could have had. He blew those concerns off the map. I can't say enough about the way he carried himself.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about the way he was throwing the ball. He did it again today with these guys. Hear me out. I just want to give you one play here because we're still allowed to do this.
I'm going to get out a shot real quick. Okay, so Rodgers,
he's watching for Jaylen Warren going off to the right side, okay? And for whatever reason, he has to kind of move out of the pocket a little bit, but he's going backward. And as he is, he's using his left foot as some kind of center of gravity, but otherwise he's way off balance and in the air. So you're thinking, you, the football fan, are thinking, he's just going to lob this. It's the only thing he could possibly do. No way he can get a hard throw off. People, he buried this ball, the point of the ball between the 3 and the O on Jalen's chest. And I turned to Chris and I'm like, how? How do you do that?
And my response to him was, he was doing this with the Jets last year.
And I don't watch the other Jets.
But I even talked about it. There was a play last year, and for those who watch my Chalk Talks, where Alan Lazard was running a drag or a shallow cross over the middle, had a dude running downhill at him full speed, like Rodgers did. And Rodgers, off of his back foot with Lazard running way the other way, flips it. And it's a seed over to Lazard right on the money. We're talking he's in the middle of the hashes, and by the time Lazard catches the ball, he's over on the 10, like where the Big 10 is for the 10-yard line. That is that is unheard. That is special arm talent, and he proved he still has it.
Yeah, I was going to say that's been there all along. It's just a matter of what percentage of it left. And Chris said something to me on the sideline yesterday that I'm going to repeat for you here, and that is if the Steelers just get 80% of what he was in 2001 in Green Bay.
21.
I always do that. It's 2021. Yeah, the post-COVID year. Then they're going to be in really, really good shape offensively. Guys, we're checking out from Latrobe. We'll have another regular show for you tomorrow. In the meantime, you have an assignment, and that's to go get our app. Go get the DK Pittsburgh Sports app. Download it for free. You can find it on your Apple App Store, and on Android, you can find it on Google Play. You'll love it.
Yeah. Listen, all the work that we do.
It's on there.
It goes on the app. All of the training camp practices. I'm going to be writing some stuff to wrap up camp here. 53-man roster projection coming out tomorrow.
Podcasts, and we're communicating nonstop with everybody on our app. So if you want to ask us questions, that's where we are. So go get our app right now, and we'll talk about tomorrow what you think about the app. All right? Take care.